Sawa. Tuko set eh?
Ina record.
Oh, sawa. Okay, yeah. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to this is the second episode we are doing. The second episode of our 24-bit podcast that we are doing on Skype. Yeah, we are still trying to stay indoors to keep safe, washing our hands, sanitizing, and doing all the other things to just try to keep safe. And on this episode, I'm Nick Canali.
I'm Dixon Otieno.
Chenze Emmanuel.
Yes, again, Kaluka is away. And today, guys, I want to talk about the new Huawei Y7P. As you all know, we've been reading about this. You know, the fight Huawei has been having with the US that actually made, the Huawei Google ban to happen. And the first device we saw to launch in the Kenyan market without the Google service was the Huawei Y7P, which most of us actually with it because we've been doing something around that, interact with it, probably done reviews.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Ulihang?
Nilihang.
Sijui kama ni kwangu peke yake.
Even on my side, welcome to WFH.
So should I just start?
No,
just continue from where you were.
Yeah. Okay, so we've all been writing about the fight Huawei has been having with the US. Then the Google ban happened, and the first device that we've seen launching in the Kenyan market with that Google services is the Huawei Y7P, which all of us have used that device. And my first question is maybe I'll ask the question I've been asking most of people who have been using this device. Do you think this phone is going to receive or will receive the reception it is supposed to receive in the Kenyan market?
I didn't get the question. Sijui kama Chenze ameelewa. Do we think it will receive the same?
Yeah, the reception maybe you should have expected from consumers. Is it going to get that reception, the Huawei Y7P?
From my end, I've seen a couple of people asking about it, but not actively considering it, debating on whether to get it over other devices, because you've seen Tecno has launched a couple of devices on the same range, so has Infinix.
Yeah.
So people have been debating, should I get a new phone from Tecno or Infinix, or should I get the Huawei Y7P? Because the Huawei Y7P runs Android 9, while the new phones run Android 10. It doesn't have Google Apps, and the new phones have Google Apps. So from my end, from the people who have approached me, they've always been asking whether they should get the new phone or the new phone from Tecno and Infinix, or to get this one.
Mm-hmm. Is it the same question I've been getting, Chenze, from your readers?
Specifically for the Y7P, no, I haven't had questions, and this is because we've been very forthright from the start, telling the same readers that, hey, look, Huawei has this shiny new gadget, but also it doesn't have what you're used to. It has alternatives, and also you can access what you're used to, but not right out of the box. So we've been very forthright about that. So as a result, at least on my end, I haven't had even one question about the state of Google Apps and services on that particular device. And given its pricing, that's interesting because it could show two things. Either the message is home, that people acknowledge and accept the situation Huawei finds itself in that it's not able to release devices that have Google's Android, and they just released devices with the running Android open source project, which they've modified with their own Huawei mobile services. But also it could also mean that whatever impact that Google is supposed to have on their business may not exactly be felt for that specific device at that particular price segment in this particular market. So that's it. Because interestingly, I've gotten the same questions. The ban came into effect the last week of May last year. So it's almost a year now, right? Mm-hmm. Since it came into effect, I've always had questions almost on a daily basis. My Twitter DM is full. And I also do every once in a while have to reply to the same.
Yeah.
About people asking, "Hey, I want to buy." Yeah, I've been asked even
I'm a prince.
that comes up often, and yeah, and even face to face that comes up. For those other devices where actually there are Google Apps and services and GMS is there. But for the Y7P, that has not come up on my end. Maybe because, well, there is information that you won't get it there already, and even if you want to get it there, this is how to go about getting the same services there or alternatives. Yeah.
But I have to admit, I mean, Huawei has been doing a really good job trying to push the device in the market, because I think they know, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to sell this device. I mean, people are used to Google services. They're using just going to easily going to Play Store and downloading their favorite apps. But now here they are with their new Huawei, the app gallery. Which how did you find it? I'm sure you tried it. How do you think it's? I mean, compared to the Play Store? Well, of course, there's so many things you can say about. But how do you find the app gallery itself?
Chance. Ama ni mimi.
No, it's me. It's me. My connection has been poor. I've dropped off the call and come back. So, you people, can you see and hear me?
Yes.
Maybe you can come up again. Maybe you can come up again with regards to the question.
Yeah, so my question was like, I mean, we've seen how much work Huawei has put, the local office has put actually into pushing the Y7P, right? I mean, they understand really. I'm sure they know it's going to be hard for them to actually sell this device, because as consumers, we're used to Google, to Play Store. We're used to just easily navigating through my Android device. And I remember when we last did our podcast about the future of Huawei after the Google ban. One of the things you talked about mostly, you are really curious to see Huawei win this. We'll actually see what happens then. So, I mean, based on your experience having interaction with the Y7P, what do you think about the app gallery itself?
I've had an interesting journey with App Gallery because, at least for me, I think it's 2 years of constant interaction with App Gallery and keeping tabs on it and all those things. From when it launched in China, I found means of getting it on my Mate 9. That was what, 2018? Around April there.
Yes.
When it became available outside China. And depending on what device I'm using, since I no longer have that much time with the Mate 9, I've used App Gallery on and off until now. With Y7, I was forced to use App Gallery as my go-to app store. And I've seen it grow. So for me, like where it is right now, I like it so much. The App Gallery that you could use in May 2018 doesn't compare to what you can use right now. Right now, there is variety. There is more local apps. Last time we met representatives from Huawei, they said what, over 70?
Local
they're talking about over 40 local apps.
Yeah. So there is a selection of local apps. So moving from, because before I started reviewing the Y7P, I've been using the Huawei Y9 Prime 2019 as my primary phone. So moving from the Y9 Prime to the 7P wasn't much of a hassle because, well, I used one means because I was going to write about it anyway. I used Phone Clone to get just about everything I wanted. But then I reset the phone to just start afresh as someone who buys the phone and doesn't have an existing device will do. And I found it interesting that from App Gallery, I could still find a bunch of the local apps I wanted there, which is good. Like what? The Safaricom, the banking apps, I also saw some of the utility apps there, even though the one I wanted, I couldn't find there. So I had to share it from a different phone, since the app also can't be found on the alternative app stores like APK Pure and APK Mirror that one can use. But I find the app gallery satisfactory. And then I've also since, because I do write almost on a daily basis about these things, I've been following the announcements and writing about them, about the new apps that are making their way to app gallery, like that Game of Thrones game,
Yeah.
So exciting stuff. I like the selection might not be as diverse as and wild as the Play Store is, but it's getting there. Because I'm just here thinking today it's May 2020. Think about where that would be in May 2021. You see, so because I've seen it grow, but like right now, it's good. And then even how they've incorporated some of the popular apps so that you can search for them from App Gallery and get external links to download them, but from within App Gallery. So that makes it very easy for someone who was not like me and you, who knows their way around where to get what. And I hope they do more of that, especially for apps that they are restricted by virtue of having licensing issues with US companies. Yeah, but so far so good. I honestly can't wait to see App Gallery grow further than it is, and being a mirror of the Play Store, or even better. Because truth be told, we need things like App Gallery, and I hope Huawei doesn't get greedy to the point where where one person will have absolute say on this platform and lock out people. Maybe they can also think about opening access. Like if I have a Xiaomi phone that I can be able to access App Gallery, for instance, that would be good. Because if anything has taught me about using Huawei phones with no Google mobile services, is no one company or person or entity needs to have all that kind of power. There's no way I can be having a very nice, powerful piece of hardware on my hands and feel bad because of the software it has, simply because it doesn't have 3 apps I've spent the last decade using. It never need to be like that. Yeah.
And did you guys notice they also added the Here We Go map? I was actually happy about that, because I remember using the Here maps on Nokia phones a while back, and Here maps really used to really work perfectly. Yeah. And when I saw that actually the other day, I was like, whoa, yeah, this is the kind of stuff you want.
Here's where we pause and ask you your age.
But I mean, here has very nice, a nice navigation and stuff. So it's a really good map.
As someone who's never used anything apart from Google Apps, my experience with the Y7P has been very stressful. Kwanza when you're not Here Maps, I'm like, wow. I've never used Here Maps, and I don't think there is any app that can
use Here Maps?
Google Maps. So I wonder,
never used Here
can
Maps,
you do everything that Google Maps can do?
What?
Yes.
Here Maps stays on all my phones. All my phones. You know why? Because if you ever needed to travel anywhere outside Kenya's borders, Here Maps allows you to download maps of a specific country, and when you are there, it will even give you navigation. When you're offline, when you're not on anybody's Wi-Fi and you're not roaming, Here Maps is your companion. Google will abandon you at the airport. So Here Maps has been like I've used Here Maps.
Download it now.
No, Google does for immediate surrounding, and also over the years it's been adding these features. Now you can go and download CG for what. Here Maps has always had that, because I can remember as far back as my very first international travel, I had Here Maps for that specific thing, and it's come in handy, especially the navigation bit.
I'm sure I only downloaded Here Maps when there was talk about it around 2013, 2014. I was in second year or first year. I don't remember, but I remember downloading it and checking it out and wondering. The UI looked very weird to me because, Google Maps was very intuitive. Then Here Maps seemed kind of weird. Then I deleted it, and I've never bothered with it again. If it's a good thing, then it's a good thing. It's on Huawei phones right now.
Yeah.
But on the Huawei... Pardon?
You never used the Lumias?
Yeah.
I only touched a Lumia when I was interacting with the Lumia 1020 you had.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Do you know the first ever the review device I reviewed on my blog? when I was venturing into this thing, it was actually a Lumia phone. I remember, was it Baron or something? He used to work for some agency in, I think XK or something. Yeah. Was it, was his name Baron, I think, yeah. So he sent me a review, and that was the first phone I ever reviewed. Yes, Byron, yes, that was his name, yeah. So, I mean, those Lumia phones, I remember very well. And that was the first time I got to
shout out kama anaona hii. He's retweeted links to this podcast before, so I'm sure he
I know. So, because they used to handle, Nokia, Microsoft then. So Dixon tried getting a
Lumia, Chenze, and a couple of friends in class had Lumias, but they looked sort of okay. I never loved Windows Phone, and I know there's many Windows Phone lovers who will be here saying,
but I never loved it too, and they be down.
Me too.
So it was never like something I would think about. Oh, Here Maps is on Windows Phone. Let me try it on Android. That's why maybe I never interacted with Here Maps. But I'll try it out now that it's on the Y7P.
Yeah, please try. It really works really well. Actually, I tried it the other day using
Street View.
Sorry?
Street View ile ya Google. I don't know. I don't know. May only go to it for navigation too. Not much else. Actually, for as long as I'm stuck in this country, like these unprecedented times are forcing us to, I have no use for Here Maps.
So Here Maps,
deactivate
what you're trying to say is Here Maps is not made for the local Kenyans.
No. I've used it. It can do all that. But I also, like you, I'm a creature of habit. I'm used to my Google Maps. So when I usually use it to fill in the gaps where Google Maps doesn't address my needs adequately. But someone can just divorce themselves completely from Google Maps, and Here Maps will step in, and they'll be fine.
For example, I love the feature on Google Maps where if there's, for example, you're on the road and there's some construction going on the road, you'll find Maps is already updated for that. Will Here Maps have such?
I'm not so sure. It does provide transit information though. And I think that incorporates some bits of traffic. I think I've seen that live in Dubai. I think I'm not so sure. That was a while back. I can't remember, but I think it does have something like that. But the other thing we need to know is Google also owns Waze, and that Waze data does power a lot of the incident reporting that we find on these Google platforms, and also. Being that Google, this is why Google owns and runs Android, right? To be able to provide such richness of information and data to its services like Maps. Because every Android device is a data point for Google Maps. So ukiingia ndani ya gari, mkue stuck in your matatu kwa jam for an hour, your phone hasn't moved. So so you're ready in performed by your phones. So if we don't have, if among us here, we are not even regular users of Here Maps, who do you think in this country uses Here Maps for it to have enough data to provide very reliable transit information and all those things? I'm not so sure about the transit feature. I think it's still there. But it could be one of those things, if it's not there, that makes you want to stay with your Google Maps. For me, Google Maps is fine, but tutaendea Here Maps wakati tutahitaji. But now for Huawei users,
and I'm happy that actually Huawei is actually really
Kanali amepotea ama nini?
Really trying to be independent. Okay, I think
Chenze was speaking.
Okay, I can hear. We are really following that meme, right?
Pardon?
Which section are we?
I think
we are really following that meme.
I thought Chenze was speaking.
Where are we?
I was hearing Kanali. So Siju, who was? I don't know where the Nini disconnect was at.
Yes, I think one of us got disconnected.
Kanali unaendelea.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Kanali, can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. So I was saying, like, I'm happy that actually Huawei is actually really trying to be independent. That's why, I mean, as much as, for example, we can't get apps like Uber, well, which we have an option of using Uber through our browser and everything. I really hoping they get to bring all these developers on board, so we can have all these apps we are missing on the app gallery right now. Actually,
I feel like Huawei has a very big task to sort of convince all these developers to get on board. But I'm hoping they do it, because from my personal experience with the Y7P, everything works. I can make calls, I can text, I can do sort of the things I do normally on my phone.
Yeah.
But immediately I want to get out of the house. Immediately I want to do the stuff I normally do while outside the house, use Google Maps. It's challenging. Open YouTube, for example. It's challenging. Cast something to the TV. It's challenging. You see, so there's very many small challenges that the Huawei Y7P has that even the goodness of the hardware gets you to consider not getting it. Because compare this to the hardware on the Y7P to any of the Transsion phones. The hardware here is much better. The cameras here, the extra lenses are actually working. It's not just slapped extra lenses that are doing nothing. It's not just numbers that are not supported by the processor. Because, for example, the Tecno Camon 15 series has a 64 megapixel camera, yet the processor says it can only support 13 megapixels. So here you have a processor you have camera extra lenses that are actually working. You have a good battery. I'm sure every one of you has really good battery with the Y7P. You have really good battery. Yes. You have a really good display. Everything is really good, but the software is sort of annoying at times. For example, just casting a video is so hard.
I think Huawei is working on their own Maps app. They partnered with TomTom, a partnership that was announced last year. TomTom, that company that makes maps and navigation software. So I'm really anxious to see what they come up with. And yes, they have a mountain to climb with regards to the apps, because they've been courting developers so that they have their apps there and all that. They are giving all manner of incentives, like while Google will take the Google tax, Huawei is giving developers some freeway and all that. I hope they are successful in their ventures, because that is what will enrich an app gallery.
But I still think for Huawei to be very successful, they cannot do it and lock it down to Huawei phones. If they work with TomTom for a Maps alternative, it has to be an app that is accessible across very many devices for it to have enough data for it to compete with Google Maps. So they'll have to really open up their software, to really open up their apps and everything to be used on Xiaomi, Oppo, and all other companies that will be open to working with them, so that it becomes an alternative that's suitable for use. You can't have a very good UI and a very good app with no data. I won't use it.
Yeah, because trust me, I mean, I'm sure brands like Xiaomi, Oppo, all these Chinese companies, they won't be have a problem actually having these Huawei apps on their devices, right?
They may have a problem, especially Xiaomi.
They may have. Everyone wants to build their own ecosystem. And when you can control a platform, like you're seeing with the American Flex, when you can control a platform, you have all the say. Like we are saying about how here Maps used to be a Nokia thing, because Nokia felt the need to have its own Maps solution. Nokia used to have everything. We had Ovi Store, Ovi Mail, Ovi Maps, which is started as Nokia Maps. Then when the Ovi thing became Ovi Maps, then whatever it is today, when the business transactions happen, Nokia used to have anything. On your Nokia phone, you had everything from Nokia. Today, on your whatever brand phone, because it runs Android, you have everything from Google right out of the box. If you are not available, not need to install any apps. Same with SIM toolkit. So unless you've bought one of these neon phones, you can still go about without needing that app. There is a Duo for video calling. There is YouTube already. There is a browser. There is even Google's camera apps. Like that kind of platform control, every company wants it. So some will have issues being entirely dependent on Huawei, especially after what you've seen the Americans do. It means anyone can flex their muscle once in a while, and any one of these companies is out there for global dominance. So yeah, of course, it's just that for the benefit of the user. If for the benefit of the user, a Xiaomi user will probably not mind having access to content on Huawei's platform, but Huawei people will probably have issues allowing other people to come there. That means, what's the incentive for, if I have something good on my end, what's the incentive for people to come and buy my hardware then and consume my services on the same hardware if they can do that on their own, you see? Because that has been the pull. That's why you don't have iMessage on Android. I mean, we could have iMessage on Android, but Apple wants us to pay the Apple tax. So,
but then I mean, what if all these brands, Xiaomi, Huawei, Vivo, came together and actually decided, like, let's work on this. For example, this map app, together. Like, remember Xiaomi, Vivo, and Oppo working on a file transfer platform the other day.
Yes.
And they also have a partnership with Huawei. You remember? They have a partnership with Huawei. Sort of, we talked about this, if you can remember.
Yeah, I wrote about it somewhere.
Yeah, they already have
a file sharing partnership.
Yes.
Yeah. The alternative. Yeah, we talked about it a while back. The alternative platform, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the alternative could work if they open up so that each of their stores has access to all these apps. That could work so that every app that's on this alliance can be accessed from all these devices. Xiaomi and so.
Yes. That's it. Yes. And that makes it less complicated for the developers. Because I don't know what image you have of a developer, but the developer could be some small child who's not going to school right now because they have to stay indoors, or one who started going to school because their country is opening up. I could also be an old man who's at the end of his life, and this is the only thing they can do anyway. So you see, so removing the hassle of having to negotiate with so many people, having to submit their apps to so many platforms, submit it once, let it become available on many these devices. If your app is your way of making revenue, that means a much bigger market. It's enticing. It's the kind of thing developers live for. Everyone is happy.
And I was reading an article, was it on Gadgets Africa, I think, about a Huawei phone coming with Google Apps. A new phone from Huawei coming with, I'm not sure.
There was a teaser by Huawei in Europe for a Huawei P30 Lite P30 Pro new edition, I guess. So you remember the P30 Lite new edition? It also had Google Apps. So maybe a P30 Pro new edition will still be a P30 Pro from last year, but with some new whatever, maybe a new camera, new something. So it could still support Google. The way they did with the Huawei Y7, what was it called? The Y9 Prime?
Even Y6s.
Even the Y6s, yes. The way they managed to have Google Apps on those devices, that P30 Pro new edition could still have Google Apps.
And a quick question: does this ban affect the Nova series? The Nova device?
It's everything. American companies need a special permit to be able to trade with some Chinese companies, specifically Huawei. So that has meant they get, like Google in its case, gets the permit to provide support for services that they had already entered into agreement with Huawei before the ban came into effect towards the end of May last year. But since they haven't gotten into new partnerships, that means when Huawei has something new, there is not much they can do about it. So that's why you find these devices they keep launching that have Google services run a dated version of Android and not a newer one. Because if they are to go with the newer one, they need to go back and sign separate agreements. Yes, new licensing deal, which can't happen because of the whatever is going on. So cuts across Honor, Nova, everyone, same mix.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. But I mean, back to the Y7P. I mean, it's here selling at, is it 18,000 shillings?
18,499.
18,499. Yeah. And then now the competition is still why we have the Tecno with the Camon 15. We have which other smartphone in the same range that launched the other day?
7.
Yeah, Infinix Note 7.
Redmi Note 9.
Yeah. So I mean, with all this competition around, do you really think Huawei has a chance of really getting the numbers they want?
One, I don't think they have a chance if they do not approach this as open as they have been already. They need to make it more open. They need to make sure that people understand it doesn't have Google Apps. It has an alternative, though, that you can use it as a new phone, as a new ecosystem, and still do most of the tasks you've been doing. Two,
and they really need to download the apps.
Yeah, they really need to push understanding of how to download these apps. I've seen the video I did on how to download apps. I was just looking at it, and it has over 6,000 people already viewing it. So they really need to push that idea that the downloading bit of apps and alternatives can work on this phone. Something I realized was that none of the promotions they're doing talk about the lack of Google Apps. They need to talk about that. I feel that it's open to talk about the lack of Google Apps. It's normal. It's not the lack of Android, because Google and Android, people don't yet understand that. I wrote that it doesn't have Google Apps, and somebody said, then how is it running Android 9? Because people still don't understand the difference between those two. So if they can talk about the lack of Google Apps and say that you can still use those on a browser, it will really work for them. Also, they really need to try and make the hardware stand out at least. Yes, it's better hardware. I do not disagree. Yes, it looks good, and it's better hardware in terms of the cameras and the build quality and all that. But if they added USB Type-C, will that be hard? Like USB Type-C, charging, charging. Why did you get a phone 20 with no fast charging, with no USB Type-C?
Yes.
I'm actually surprised they went with micro USB for the Y7P, because they took such a bold step with Y9 Prime. So I could understand why the Y6S was the way it was, but why Y7P? 18K is quite a lot of money in our market. And I want to know the thought process around excluding micro USB. It might not be a big thing to a lot of people, but right now the future is definitely, at least the immediate future is definitely USB-C. Yeah. So the more USB-C cables you can start collecting, the better. You know, we are past that argument where we were saying people have lots of micro USB cables. That was good. Yeah. It worked then. Now you want the cables of tomorrow. You need to start accumulating so that tomorrow we make the argument everyone has USB-C cables in their drawers. But I also get why Huawei is not centering their marketing of the device around it not having Google Apps and services. My thought is, as someone who's too immersed in Android and writing about that ecosystem almost on a daily basis, and having used the platform from the early days, I'm used to certain things. But along that time, a lot of people have come along. At 18,000 shillings, you have guys who are in campus who might be able to afford it. A lot of them are not creatures of habit like me, or they do not have that baggage of having been used to a certain normal previously. They're part of the new normal generation. So they'll just get on and they'll be fine. So it's from a marketing perspective, it's not really hiding anything, but it's just focusing your energies where you can get quick wins. Because instead of telling me here in a Gmail, you can tell me here is how to set up your email. Because on my Y7P, I can't go without my Gmails. I just set it up on the Huawei email application. Worked just fine. Looks strange because I'm not used to having Gmail there. I'm used to using the Huawei mail application for my self-hosted emails, but not for Gmail. So it looks strange. But to someone else who just wants to read email, well, what's the fuss, you see? Yeah, so there's that. And then there's a whole selfie generation out there, Instagram Live. So as long as they're able to do TikTok, which comes even pre-installed, does it? But you can get it in a gallery. If they can have their TikTok there and be able to shoot and do their sequences hapo, then they're good. So unaweza waambia this lacks duo and what, but wao wanaweza access chenye wanaweza access. It's fine. It's to be honest, there is no middle ground. There is also no extreme sides, because if you are the one marketing the phone, where will you focus your energies? You see, because number one, I can't speak for every customer, but what a lot of people would want from this phone probably is very different from what I'd want. Mimi, I'd forgo on a billboard and scream, "This is what you get instead." But maybe that's not what someone is looking for. Like I come to realize a lot of these phones I get for review zinakuwa marketed as taking the best out of this world photos, 50 times zoom. Maybe my day-to-day usage doesn't include me zooming in on people's balconies. So, there's that.
I just felt like it's weird. Personally, I was saying the marketing because I felt like it's weird. They're using influencers on YouTube and on Facebook, but most of the influencers have seen their videos from YouTube. They're using such influencers, and the phone, you can't install YouTube on the just talk about it. Say that the YouTube will be available on the browser. Try and use these influencers to explain some of these things that people are asking about. For example, Instagram, you still have to download APK Pure to download Instagram because it's not on App Gallery and all that. Just make it open.
There was someone in my mentions, actually. I remember even the person is even tagged the official Huawei Twitter account. So the person was actually a chick. She was complaining how she bought the device because she saw it on Influencer X timeline. Now, siwezi download YouTube, siwezi download Nini. What am I supposed to do? I spent my money. I actually handed them over to okay, Huawei should be able to assist you on that.
I believe this is why our blogs exist.
Because they'll talk about it to other people. And when somebody sees the tweet, they will not want to buy that phone. So I think it was very important to make it very clear from the onset.
Yeah. It ends up being negative. It ends up becoming a chain. And you see, for things that I don't know much about, I've actually gone ahead and bought them purely based on how people are talking about them, especially on my Twitter timeline and the reputation they have. For someone who doubts their knowledge on phones and who probably trusts someone else's, because that's how we live. We take other people's opinion of things based on their usage and how we trust them and our relationships. We'll see that, and without thinking twice, they completely erase what is perhaps the best budget phone you can buy between 10K and 20K. Erase it from the equation, from consideration, and go get something else which is not even worthy. But maybe they could have made a more informed decision if they were well equipped. That's why our blogs exist, because those kind of buyers need to be empowered to know which is best. But also, we don't have the kind of following that some of these influencers have. So when we scream in a room, we may not be the loudest. So the onus is on those who are louder, so that next time someone doesn't come and say you misread them, just tell them this works this way. This the one thing I like about the Y7P is the camera. It's brilliant. I really like those cameras. I'm not your regular shutterbug, but hey, the once in a while when I need it looks good to me, and it's fine. So I'll tell you that and tell you, but by the way, if you're used to these other things, you need to go through hills and valleys to get to them. It doesn't mean you won't get to them, but you'll get to them, which is fine. Information is power. Me telling you that doesn't mean I've done disservice to the brand. It's just you knowing everything you have. It's what we always say about other things. Tutakwambia hii simu ni nzuri, like the Nokia phones, really good as far as the looks go, as far as the future updates go. But the expensive, the battery life, so you see. That kind of thing.
Life is pathetic.
Yeah. You have all this nice Android One experience and the promise of updates till Jesus comes, but then the battery life is still.
Kanali.
You see?
Yes.
So you translate the same to software.
Sorry?
Chenza amepotea.
Yeah. Nimerudi.
Yeah, amerudi.
Kanali tumalize.
Yeah, ndio tulikuwa tunasema. So like maybe as we wind up at 18,000 shillings do you think that's
At
your price
18,000
iko sawa ama 18,000 for, is it 500? Yeah, your price is it okay ama it should have been lower ama?
Personally, for me, 18,000 is a good price, starting price for the phone. I wish the storage was a little more, maybe 128, but I'm sure I'm pushing things up
USB Type-C.
and USB Type-C and fast charging. Like 10 watts. Imagine you put this on the charger and it takes forever to charge.
Aki, man. Do you know, like how fast? Do you know? Have you seen how fast the Oppo Reno 3 charges?
Yes. 30 watts. You start. You go to the kitchen. You're back 40%.
Yeah, you're back the phone. Yeah. Anyway, Chenze, 18,500. Is it okay?
It's fine by me. Yeah, it's just that for everything they've put, I've used the phone, it's excellent. For everything they've put in that phone, the money is worth it. I just feel like they could have disrupted themselves, pushed the envelope further. You know, this is why I like Xiaomi. Xiaomi will give you a that cheap phone with just everything, including what you never thought you'd get for that money.
Yeah.
I want that. That is what we should have.
Big battery.
Yeah.
Easy vitu za hapa zinaitwaje? Iron blaster. Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, let's see how this goes. I'm really looking forward to see what we will do with this. The next that we are waiting for the P40. Yeah. Let's see how. Is it the P40 that you're waiting?
P40 should have been here already in April, but it's what you're waiting for, right? Ama nimekosea?
Yeah.
And also there's also some new Y series phones launching elsewhere, which will be coming here too. Yeah.
I'm waiting to see the stats. I hope they sell a lot.
Yeah. We're gonna try ask them to give us those numbers so that we can see, if we're gonna have something else to talk about. Yeah, but I think that should be it for today, right? Unless unataka kuongeza anything else.
No, watu wanaweza share maoni yao about Google.
So if you bought this device,
Huawei phones.
Yeah. So if you bought this device, tell us what's your experience. How is it like, without Google services? Would you buy a Huawei device?
Buying it?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and I think that's it. So my name is Nick Kanali. I blog at techtrends, k.co.ke.
Chenza Emmanuel, androidkenya.com.
Dixon Atieno, techish.com.
Yes, and Kaluka Wanzala, Tech Arena. Yeah, we're going to be having it in our next episode. So, yeah, .co.ke. Yeah. So I think that's it for now.